So the 2024 NFL trade deadline has come and gone, and the Eagles have the same exact roster. Was this the right decision, or will Howie Roseman regret not making a move on deadline day? Can this team still win the Super Bowl? We'll talk about that, as well as a few of the other moves made around the NFL. But welcome on in to A to Z Philly. Do me a favor, like this video, go down below and hit that red subscribe button. Help us get to 7K subscribers. So maybe I lied. I mean, the Eagles did make a move. They made a move today. They released Albert O, tight end Albert O. Maybe they tried to trade him and they could not. So his return window was coming up. He was on IR, and the Eagles end up cutting ways with Albert O. So he is gone. But seriously, let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. They decide to stay put. Howie Roseman does not make a move, which is very surprising. Usually he makes at least one move, even if it's a minor, smaller scale decision, but they decide to stay put. Do you agree or do you disagree with this? Let me know down below. Here's my take on it, okay? Can the Eagles still win the whole thing? Do they have a talented roster to win it all? Yes. Yes, they do. However, it's still going to take some unlocking to get there. Did the Eagles get too caught up in a stretch where they played the Giants and the Browns and the Jaguars and teams like that? Quite frankly, yes, maybe they potentially did. But either way, we know they have a high-powered, prolific offense. They have a quarterback who has shown signs now of playing like an MVP again, and the defense has turned it up as well. The Eagles are top 6 in both offense and defense. So this team definitely can do it, but I am a little bit concerned that they got caught up in it. If they would have went out and made one move, just one, for another pass rusher, I would say pencil it in. This team can beat the Detroit Lions and can go to the Super Bowl. And that's how I feel. And you look at some of the other teams around the league that got better. Let's start with the Washington Commanders in the division. They go out and they trade for a 4-time Pro Bowl cornerback in Marshon Lattimore. Saints had multiple teams interested in the 28-year-old corner, but the Commanders jump in. They didn't let him go to the Chiefs. Commanders jump in and get Marshon Lattimore. They have a rookie quarterback. They're 7-2. I don't think the Commanders can win it all this year, but this shows me that, hey, we're still at the top of the NFC right now, and we're trying to get better. They are making a push. They had something like 9 picks in this upcoming draft for 2025, and they went and used some of those picks. One of them was from the Jahan Dotson trade. So, look, Washington has turned it around. They look like a real threat, and you're going to be playing them in about a week and a half. So, they got better. They got better. And on top of that, the team that has been crowned right now at the top of the NFC, that's one of the best, maybe the best other than the Chiefs in the entire NFL, got better. Za'Darius Smith traded to the Detroit Lions. What do you know? A pass rusher, an edge rusher. So the Commanders and Lions were not satisfied. They sat there. They said, we have a really good shot to compete this year. Looks like it's more wide open than we anticipated. And they went out, cashed in, and made a move. Meanwhile, the Eagles sit back. They had an opportunity to go out and get one more piece that could really solidify this pass rush. If I had to ask you right now, how confident are you in that front four for the Eagles? I think they have done enough to build that confidence and to gain our trust, but can I say I'm 100% confident? Absolutely not. I do not trust Bryce Huff. If Bryce Huff can actually figure this thing out and be the $17 million per year guy that you paid for, then yes, I do think the Eagles will be just fine. But based on what we have seen now through the first, 7-8 weeks, it's not enough. And what happened today, if you're Phillies fans, or maybe you're not a Phillies fan, but for my 4 for 4s, what happened today feels very Phillies-ish from the past trade deadline, right? The Philadelphia Phillies don't make a big move. They get a closer, and that's about it. And they stay put when a lot of people were talking about another bat and an outfielder, and they said, well, we won all these games. We beat down on some teams, and we're fine. We're going to trust who we are within to get us there. And obviously, they choked in the first round, in the divisional round. So, it feels very Phillies-ish. And I hope we are not looking back, in a couple months saying, damn, we should have got a pass rusher. We were one player away, one pass rusher away. And I feel like Howie Roseman missed a huge opportunity. If Bryce Huff can figure it out, who now pretty much in my eyes becomes the X factor, yeah, I think this Eagles team has what it takes. But it doesn't feel good when the other teams around you get better and you do not do anything at all. Let's look at some of the other trades that went on. We already knew some from the prior weeks, right? A couple of the big receivers, Davante Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper. But today we talked about the big ones, right? Marshawn Lattimore, Za'Darius Smith to the Detroit Lions. And then right before the buzzer, Tre'Davious White gets traded from the Rams over to the Baltimore Ravens. Don't really know how much he has left. But yeah, man, a lot of guys moved today. So I thought it was definitely interesting. And it feels like, the Eagles had a chance. Now, again, we're not the executives. Maybe a lot of these top talents weren't on the table, right? Maybe Myles Garrett wasn't on the table, and that's why the Lions went and got Za'Darius Smith. But whether it was Myles Garrett or Max Crosby, right? And if those guys weren't on the table and you weren't willing to give up a top pick for those guys, okay, I still would have done it. But even another guy just as a depth piece, right? Maybe like a Harold Landry or an Arden Key. They kept continuously talking about the Titans, and that's a front office that Howie Roseman has owned. And those types of teams are looking to get rid of their assets. Another guy I heard today was Chase Young, right? The Saints trade Lattimore. They are tanking. They're blowing it up. Chase Young, even though he only has a couple sacks on the season, was a former top pick for a reason. And just having another body really could have helped. I know that Howie Roseman has gotten burned in the last year or two when it comes to some of these trades. Like a guy I can think off the top of my head is Kevin Byard, right? Like that ended up being just a tumultuous trade. But when it's all said and done, Howie has been able to swing some of these sneaky trades, right? Even if it's not a top name, just a regular player who can come here and optimize a different role. Like in the Super Bowl year, you go out and you trade a 4th round pick that nobody saw coming to get Jay Ajayi, and look at how much he contributed to that Super Bowl roster. So, Howie Roseman, I expected a little bit more. Maybe it's all in the plan, but at least at the end of the day, we can have ourselves a good laugh. Even though the Eagles didn't make a move, the Dallas Cowboys embarrassed themselves again. Based on everything I've seen, the Dallas Cowboys are the losers of the trade deadline. They should have, blew it up. They should have sold pieces off, but for some reason, I guess they're holding on to this hope, even though they did announce, by the way, that Dak Prescott's going to IR most likely, so he's not going to play this weekend against the Birds. He'll miss 4 games. The Dallas Cowboys are cooked, but they gave up more to get Jonathan Mingo this morning, than the Kansas City Chiefs did to get DeAndre Hopkins, who obviously balled out yesterday for the Chiefs. It's unbelievable, man, how bad the Cowboys are. Chiefs get Hopkins for a 5th round pick. Jets got Davante Adams for a 4th. The Ravens get Deontay Johnson for a 5th. And the Cowboys get Jonathan Mingo, a 2nd-year player, former 2nd round pick that they liked in the draft, for a 4th round pick. I mean, the Cowboys are going to cowboy no matter what, and they are going downhill. They're done. They are cooked. This division belongs to either the Commanders or the Philadelphia Eagles, and I will be very excited this week to watch the Eagles beat down on Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys. It will be very, very sweet. Should the Philadelphia Eagles have made a move, or are you content with the current roster? Give me your thoughts down below. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I'll catch y'all on the next one.